in the Middle East, and the pictures that we have been seeing are telling that story perhaps better than any adjectives that we could use to describe it. The Allied attack on Iraq, it continues tonight at a furious pace. In a moment, we're going to take you closer to look at these pictures, the initial bombing, as you see it, of Baghdad.
And from the Defense Department tonight, a much attack of Iraq from the scopes of American planes.
2, 1.
And we're going to take you both above and below the USS Wisconsin as missiles are launched toward Iraq. But we begin tonight with Israel, where just 24 hours ago, Iraqi missiles were landing. Tonight, more sirens, more fear, but so far, no more missiles. Channel 7's Penny Daniels is at our satellite news desk with more. Penny?
Even though many believe they could be attacked again at any time. Israelis heard the sound of air sirens for the second time in 20 hours early this afternoon, our time. Israeli radio told people to put on gas masks, head for sealed rooms, and get ready for a possible attack. CNN reporters in Jerusalem just happened to be interviewing Israel's foreign minister when those sirens went off.
Iraq has plunged the entire area into war. I think we're hearing sirens outside, in fact, and in fact there might be an alert as we speak. If that wasn't a passing ambulance, I don't know. I'll find out as soon as we finish this program. But in any case, this just demonstrates to you what we're talking about. This is the real thing.
Well, it turned out no missiles fell, and after about 25 minutes, Israelis did hear the all-clear signal. We have some pictures of the damage done by those roughly 7 Iraqi Scud missiles. Here it is, which did fall in Tel Aviv and Haifa before dawn there this morning. Those missiles destroyed several buildings, leaving smoke still drifting from bomb craters. Now, there was another air raid siren that went off in parts of Israel just a couple of hours ago, but once again it proved to be just a false alarm. Conflicting reports tonight on whether Israel will retaliate for early this morning's attack. Israel's defense minister reportedly says that it will, but that has yet to be definitely confirmed. Back to you now, Sally.
All right, thank you, Penny. Earlier today, President Bush praised Israel for its restraint, and tonight he's warning Americans to be realistic about war.
And war is never cheap or easy. And I say this only because I am somewhat concerned about the initial euphoria in some of the reports and reactions to the first day's developments.
Now, since last night's missile attack, the U.S. has stepped up its aerial assault of Iraq. Rick is at the war map with more on that. Rick?
Yeah, stepped up to say the very least, Sally. Obviously, in a retaliatory act, the United States has decided to blitzkrieg, bombard most of Iraq. Just to give you an example, okay? Normandy, the invasion of Normandy, about 1,000 sorties. Iraq today, the attack by U.S. forces, more than 2,000 sorties, which means it was double whatever we had in Normandy. We're going to give you an idea of what it was like by showing you the initial attack, the one that happened the night before. The U.S. right now is in the middle of what could be called a major effort to wipe out what is left of Iraq's firepower. These are the pictures of Baghdad on the very first attack. Now, mind you, most of what you're seeing here is anti-aircraft, 37 millimeter, 57 millimeter. It's not actual, you don't see any of the United States' warplanes, or for that matter, any of our Tomahawk missiles actually doing any damage. Most of the firing you see is just Iraqi firepower, but from their version of howitzers, as you see right there. But most of it is just wild shooting. They're probably not aiming at anything because they can't really see anything. Now, after seeing that assault, you begin to get an idea of the difference between what you would call carpet bombing and the type of surgical bombing that went on that night. Because look at this. You're looking now at Baghdad the day after. You see any buildings blown up? No. Do you see any total destruction? No. As a matter of fact, what you see is a city that looks like pretty much a normal city. Obviously, if we were to focus on the specific places, command centers, for example, communication centers, well, then you would obviously see some damage. But as far as carpet bombing the city, it didn't happen. What you had was, Sally, as you've referred to it yourself, basically a surgical bombing of that city. That's what happened during the initial attack. What's happening right now? We imagine it's more of the same, but we can't say that we know. Sally?
All right, thank you, Rick. We'll get back to you. From the ongoing battles to the situation in Israel, Washington is monitoring every moment, every change. Channel 7 senior reporter Mark Ledner is on Capitol Hill tonight. Mark, you spent the better part of the day at the White House. Any sign that they can keep Israel from attacking?
There are fast and furious negotiations going on. The president referred to them today. Secretary of State Baker is believed to have been on the phone today with Yitzhak Shamir, the prime minister of Israel. Certainly the U.S. is doing everything it can to keep the state of Israel from retaliating against Iraq, probably trying to convince Israel to absorb perhaps a second strike if that comes.
Thank you, Mark. Mark Ledner reporting to us live from Washington. Rick?
Sally, we're going to show you a couple of different things right now. If the director's listening to me, can you get a shot from the overhead camera? Okay, now you're looking at the couple of areas where I'm standing right now. This is the western side of Iraq. This is near the city of Rutbah, and this is where most of the Scud missiles have been knocked out, the ones at least that were stationary. However, there are mobile Scud missiles that the United States is trying to wipe out right now and have been for the past 4 hours. They say they spotted at least 11 of them. These Scud missiles are fired in this direction that I'm showing you walking right now. Those are the ones that probably were fired toward Tel Aviv. Now I'm going to walk over down here near Kuwait. There's a city right above Kuwait. It's called Basra. This city is where the missiles are shot from when they're shot in the direction of Saudi Arabia and the city of Dhahran, where what we are going to show you now took place last night. You are about to see a Scud missile actually being intercepted in midair. It is done using a Patriot missile. This is it. Now, pay particular attention, and you'll see the Patriot missile leaving. Now, watch. You see that sky light up? That's actually a missile impacting another missile in midair and exploding it. This is the first time this has happened in military history. Okay, now let's show you what actually happened there and why it happened. You're seeing there on this graphic we've made for you the city of Basra. From Basra, the Scud missile was fired. Because it was in a direct line with Dhahran, then the Patriot missile was able to actually intercept it, blow it up before it was able to make a hit. Again, because it was shot in the same line, almost a straight line to Dhahran, and because in Dhahran we have military installation. Now let's look at the opposite. Let's look at what happened last night when Tel Aviv came under attack. Let's go to that. Watch the right side of your screen, and you're going to see a Scud missile landing in Tel Aviv. There it is. There it is. That's the Scud missile landing in Tel Aviv last night. Now let's show you what happened there. As you can see, there are some defense missiles in Israel that may have been able to defend it. But because the Iraqis chose not to hit a military target, instead they shot at a civilian target, well, the Patriot missiles, or the missiles in that region, weren't lined up with the Scud missiles, so it was impossible for it to make a hit. So as you see in the graphic that we have made, the one missile, of course, the Scud, went in one direction and was able to hit Tel Aviv. The other missile toward Hebron was able to go in the other direction, actually missing the Scud missile, and that's why 7 of those Scud missiles, if my figures are correct, were actually able to make a landing last night in Tel Aviv, and thank God they did not have any kind of warheads on them, chemical to be exact. Sally?
All right, thank you, Rick. Well, we got an eerie piece of video tonight that shows you how life going on normally in the rest of the world can affect the people in the middle of a war. Now, this is a sight that sent people in Tel Aviv rushing for their gas masks. It was a rocket streaking across the sky. Many people thought they were under attack, even though the air raid sirens weren't blaring. Turns out it is a rocket, a Soviet space rocket booster, the first stage that dropped off and it is falling into the Mediterranean. You can see why that would be a scary sight. As Penny Daniels told us earlier, Israelis are waiting tonight to see if there will be more attacks. We're going to go live now to Jerusalem. Joining us on the phone is Samuel Zachamsberg. Samuel, how is everybody dealing with today? I hear you had 2 air raid warnings go off today in Jerusalem. What's the mood there? Samuel, are you on the line? Samuel? He sounds very far away. Let's work on that phone line a little bit and see if we can get him back. Well, still ahead, we're going to take a look from above and below the USS Wisconsin as it pelts Iraq with missiles. And a closer look at the attack on Iraq from a man who used to fly these kinds of missions.